Talk about some wide receivers that are on the bubble you may be looking at as your wide receiver 2 or your flex. We'll run through some of the names here. We already starting, Julian Edelman against Kansas City. I think that's clear even after the down week in week 3 where he really wasn't heavily utilized. You got to plug him back in here against Kansas City where points are going to need to be scored. One of the highest over-unders on the week, only behind the Packers-Falcons on Monday Night Football. Are you with me there on Edelman?
Yeah, Edelman's a must-start in PPR. I mean, he's going to be the number one target for Cam Newton. Disappointing game this last week, but look at his targets this year. 7 targets, 11 targets, and 6 targets. Against Kansas City, you said it. They're going to have to score points. Edelman's got to be out there as your wide receiver, too.
So let's talk about Odell Beckham in one of the other highest over-under games. The Browns going down to Dallas, playing against the Cowboys. You firing up Odell in this one with confidence?
You have to be, this is a big moment if you have Odell in any of your rosters because this is the best opportunity for him to see the volume that we want him to have. The Dallas Cowboys have been in shootout games all season long. Their defense is weak. And so this is a huge opportunity for the Browns offense. They might not win the game, but they're going to need to throw the ball to keep up with the Cowboys. And on the Odell Beckham side of things, I mean, they beat Washington and the Bengals in the last 2 games, and week 1 was like a throwout game against the Baltimore Ravens. So we haven't really seen the Browns open up the playbook to the passing game. I think Kareem Hunt's going to have a good game. I think if there's a week you can start Jarvis Landry in your flex, it's this week. And I'm no doubt throwing Odell Beckham out there. He should lead the team in targets, and he could get a touchdown as well. We could see Baker throwing it deep to Odell for a few big plays here against the Cowboys. I'm excited to see what Odell can do, and if he doesn't have a big game this week against Dallas, that's where I'm going to start to be really, really concerned. But I don't expect that to happen. I think he'll have a fine game, and he should have a pretty safe high floor here in week 4.
He had 4 catches, 4 huge plays, 4 first downs against Washington. This is the perfect matchup for him, like you said. So let's get into some deeper names here, guys that you didn't have a ton of draft capital invested in. Tyler Boyd against Jacksonville. Boyd's been a weekly start.
Putting up numbers.
A guy that we've liked, 20 points on back-to-back weeks. Are you still plugging him against the Jags here in week 4?
Steph, you're starting Tyler Boyd until further notice. I mean, this guy, tough week 1 against the Chargers and Burrow's first game against a stingy defense. But the last 2 games, Tyler Boyd's been going off. I mean, against Cleveland, 7 catches for 72 yards and a touchdown. Last week against Philly, 13 targets in that game, 10 catches for 125 yards. To me, Tyler Boyd has shown enough this season to where you're starting him in your flex every single week until he shows you otherwise. I mean, he's playing a ton of snaps. He's played more snaps than any other Bengals receiver this season. So to me, Burrow's going to keep getting better and better, and Tyler Boyd's got to be out there. What's your take here on the Bengals and Tyler Boyd?
I'm right there with you. The pass volume from Joe Burrow has been tremendous.
It's great.
And we saw 13 targets go to A.J. Green in week 2. And then we saw 13 targets go to Tyler Boyd in week 3. A.J. Green did have Darius Slay on him. I think that's part of why that target volume is so high for Boyd, because he was able to get open against some softer corners there. But against a pretty soft matchup in the Jags, I'm expecting good things from Boyd.
Absolutely. Steph, next one's tough. It's my boy. We've been talking about him all season long. TY Hilton, 3 straight dud games. He's going against the Chicago Bears this week. What's the deal with T.Y. Hilton? Do you feel confident rolling him out there, and are you willing to start him as your wide receiver 2 or your flex here in week 4?
I want to sit him if at all possible. In what should have been a fantastic matchup against the Jets, only 8.2 fantasy points. Only saw 3 targets in that game because Jonathan Taylor and the Colts defense were really the ones that were winning that one for the Colts. I'm curious, as our in-house Colts fan here, how are you feeling about T.Y.? I'm probably sitting him unless I absolutely have to.
Oh, I'm absolutely sitting him. I'm playing guys like CeeDee Lamb over him. I'd probably even play someone like Marvin Jones over T.Y. Hilton this week. I just need to see it before I roll him out there. And look, the matchup last week against the Jets, yes, it's a good matchup. The Jets defense is weak, but the second that they threw that pick 6 on the first drive, great play by Xavier Rhodes, I was like, this is not going to be a T.Y. Hilton game because the Colts dominated the Jets from the opening kickoff. And when you're dominating a game and you have a great run blocking O-line and Jonathan Taylor, how often do you really need to throw the ball? So I think that was the problem here for T.Y. Hilton. You said it, only the 3 targets. Rivers only threw the ball 21 times, though, in this one. They just didn't need to throw it. The Chicago Bears are a 3-0 team, could be a little bit more competitive here. So I'm out. I'm sitting T.Y. Hilton, but interestingly enough, Steph, I'm trying to buy him low in a couple places.
Interesting.
If it's my wide receiver 4 on my team, like I want to buy him low, keep him on my bench, see if he can have a couple breakout games and maybe work his way up to be my flex or gain more value for me to then trade back to somebody else. Because I think season long, T.Y. Hilton's going to be fine. It's just been a rough start here for him this year.
Paris Campbell out rest of the season. Michael Pittman dealing with some issues, may not be in. And
tough.
you look at air yard share, T.Y. Hilton is still, despite what the box scores may say, he's still the wide receiver 1 here. He's top 10 in air yard share, but just hasn't really been able to put it together. Only 3 deep targets so far. I think that's going to change as well, but we are seeing a little bit of a decline from Hilton. We'll see if he can bounce back, but I'm going to try to sit him here in week 4.